much aware that we were doing it for the good of everybody, and we were prepared to do whatever it took just to be home.
Brisbane nurse Sue Erasmus and her family flew into Melbourne from South Africa in May. They spent 14 days quarantined at the Stamford Plaza, one of 2 hotels at the centre of Victoria's second wave.
This is 11 o'clock in the morning. This is how bright our apartment is. That's how many days we've had so far.
Straight away, Sue thought the contracted security staff weren't prepared for such a critical task.
Maybe there's a guard. I got the impression that they were a little bit overwhelmed. There wasn't any continuity of care amongst the guards, certainly not on our floor. I had the impression that the guards were rotated between us and other hotels. We get to go out once every 4 days for 10 minutes fresh air.
This is our 10 minutes of fresh air.
We were in a public alleyway exercising. Was that safe for the public? There were times they didn't have masks on from what I remember.
Security at the Stamford Plaza was provided by MSS Security, one of 3 firms selected by the Victorian government without tender to run Melbourne's quarantine hotels.
It may even be that every case of COVID-19 in Victoria in recent weeks could be sourced to the hotel quarantine program.
An inquiry examining what went wrong has so far named 6 hotels, 10 state government agencies and 8 security companies as being of interest to its investigations. The Victorian government and its 3 contracted security companies have not provided specific details about the inner workings of their hotel quarantine arrangements. But now, 730 has obtained a copy of the contract with one of the firms, which reveals who was responsible for ensuring guards were properly trained and equipped to do the job. Wilson Security handled quarantine security at 3 Melbourne hotels. Under this agreement between the Victorian Government's Department of Jobs and Wilson Security, the onus was on the security company to provide training at its own cost in workplace health and safety and risk management, as well as COVID-19 safety inductions and infection control training before guards started work. The agreement also states that the security company must ensure that guards wear all necessary personal protective equipment at all times.
You can't rely on the type of workforce that is casualised, undertrained, and sometimes not underpaid as well, to really handle complex health protocols and situations that are as risky and as dangerous as the one we have.
UTS Professor Emmanuel Jusserand has reviewed the contract.
So we know that the industry has had systemic problems with their workforce. And in a situation that's as sensitive as this one, where you have the potential for catastrophic outcome, and we know it's happening. That's the situation. That's what's happening in Victoria.
The Victorian government wouldn't confirm whether all 3 contracted security companies had the same agreement.
We didn't get any training when I got there, so they just didn't tell us what we had to do. We just had to put a mask on, put gloves on, and that's it.
Last week, 19-year-old security guard Shayla Sakshi told 730 she received no infection control training when she worked at the Stamford Plaza in May.
They had no training of how to use PPE, how to sanitize their hand, nothing, no trainings at all.
Outbreak management needs to often be done by outbreak experts to ensure simple things like these don't happen. Same with...
Epidemiologist Professor Mary Louise McLaws says regardless of what was in the contract with security companies, there should have been greater oversight by health experts at all quarantine hotels.
In hindsight, it's not necessarily the best idea to have the service providers do everything, the compliance checking, because they may not have even realised that they needed to do compliance checking. Certainly, infection prevention and control experts in hospitals understand that.
730 also revealed last week how some guards were recruited for hotel quarantine by subcontractors.
I got put on a WhatsApp group and they're like, would you like to work at this place? And I'm like, I don't know what you guys are, what company, nothing else.
The contract with Wilson Security reveals it was permitted to use subcontractors, but only with written approval from the Victorian government. The company told 730 it did this and also provided its guards, including contractors, the same level of training and protective equipment. At home in Brisbane, Sue says she and her family feel fortunate not to have contracted coronavirus while in quarantine.
It makes me feel like we got off lucky. It's a strange situation to be treated as if you have the virus, where you're pretty certain you don't, but you might have. And so, it was emotionally very challenging. Everyone was just very keen to get home.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.